We probably had the worst weather devastation we have ever had at our glamping site recently. I think like $50,000 worth of things were ruined. Let's talk about where I went wrong and how you can avoid the same mistakes I made. So we've already begun to rebuild some of the site, and I'll go over there shortly and show y'all what we've rebuilt and how we changed it. We ended up moving the grilling area over here because we had everything down there. I'll flash pictures up if you haven't seen it. Some of y'all are already familiar with what the layout was. We had a nice walking bridge over there. My contractors going into it had already told me, you know, there's a small chance that when a big rainstorm comes, the walking bridge would probably get taken away. We never expected in a million years that the flooding would get so bad at one time that it would carry a 2-ton sauna all the way across the creek. So we'll walk down there. We used to have the walking bridge right here. You can even hear the water still running off from our pond some over there. You can even kind of see, it took a good bit of our culverts and everything out over there. It's a pretty devastating area that we're trying to solve with concrete and all that, but as we all know, concrete is not cheap. Our 2-ton sauna was over there. Bathtub, floating bridge, another deck, outdoor shower, electricity, grilling area, about $10,000 worth of landscaping rocks, gone. All washed away. There is a bathtub floating down Huffman's Creek somewhere, and a deck that is probably at somebody's house now. Just to show y'all as well, though, with the mirror house, this crossed this creek during a massive flood, and it is still intact. So anybody that is questioning if the glass will be able to withstand wind and hail and tree branches and all that, I can affirm that this will maintain through the devastation of a massive flood. You know, we tried to build what we could and make it as, you know, we tried to be as cohesive with nature that we could, but we learned that it is better to just not even try to play with nature. As you can see, this sauna is being held up by this tree right here, right now. We're working on trying to get a crane here to lift it up on this other side. I don't know if it's even going to be able to happen, though. We were supposed to have the crane actually come today. It started raining again, so we couldn't have the crane come because it weighs about 35,000 pounds and it would pretty much sink into the ground. So you're probably wondering, like, well, what did you learn from this? You know, like, how could you learn anything besides not trying against Mother Nature? A few of the main things I have learned is if you have even an inkling that there's an area that could flood in your area or something is lower elevation, I would avoid it. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks, all these extra things. Like, I know, trust me, that is one of the prettiest areas. I bought this property to build something down there when I bought it. And I'm, you know, very upset that I'm not going to be able to utilize that ever again. But I also do not want to have to deal with these type of expenses ever again. You know, that was about $50,000 to build that whole area down there. Wiped out, gone. And now I'll probably have to spend about another $25,000 to get a new area built, much higher, different sauna and things like that. But absolutely have some type of insurance on every structure you have, even if it's not the best, which working with FEMA is not sometimes, or the SBA, because, you know, some of these are business, some of these are residences. It just depends on what you're doing with it. FEMA will not work with you if it's a business. SBA will work with you. I have a little mix of home and business on here, so I'm able to get a little bit of both. Hopefully, I'm in the process of talking with them. The second thing is trust the contractors in the area. I trusted them extensively. I have great contractors. I was initially going to plan a tree house down there and a few other structures before. The oud company was even, you know, wanting to put more structures on this backside I have over here of more land. I had one contractor, that put my electrical pole in. He was the first person, and he's not even technically my electrician or anything like that. When he came first, he looked at the site, and I was telling him my plan, and he looked at me and he was like, you know, I just don't think that's a good idea. He's like, I just see a lot of erosion down there. Pointed out a few things to me. Trust the people in your area and really lean on them if you're not familiar with that area or not have been there for long. There's a lot of things that people will point out that you're not even aware of until they're pointed out. I have an extremely good plumber, a very good electrician. I've went through different ones. My septic crew is very good. I have multiple different people that are on my team, technically, of, you know, contractors and all that have been giving me great advice. And all of them, you know, they can only do so much themselves and know what's exactly going to come. But between all the advice I've had from different people and leaning on them, it's helped me tremendously save a decent amount of money and some more heartache. Even though that is devastating, I trusted them and they were able to really give me some good feedback and decisions on as I'm building the place, especially if this is your first time building something like this, which, you know, this is mine I've obviously been doing it for about 3 years now, but I always learn something new every single time. I will never, ever go against Mother Nature ever again. Luckily, I had an amazing contractor for the actual main house, put it on an amazing slab, built it up, the proper dimensions, all those things like that. These houses and my geodome were not affected at all. My third bit of advice is if you are even worried about some type of area and you're not sure how the water flows or the trees in the area and all those types of things like that, I would start small on the amount of expenses you're putting into that area. Hindsight, I spent about $10,000 on landscaping down there. I wish I would have never done that. I wish I would have just done a much cheaper, more simple one to see how we made it through for the first few months. We lasted about 8 months before this devastation happened. I wish I would have just cut down on some of the landscaping and things. Some of the expense, you know, the amenities, I had to go all out on because outdoor amenities are always going to win for you in the glamping space, especially as more unique stays are coming. Most people, they like the house, you know, it's a quick viral moment and things, but most people really care about the outdoor amenities. That is the main thing that I am seeing as we keep getting data back and talking to guests and just seeing what the bookings are coming in and why they're booking. The outdoor amenities are key. I have my grass guy coming tomorrow, so don't mind the grass. So now we have changed it now to elevate it even more, put it on top of the pond. This structure is never going to go anywhere. The same contractors built this deck and all these other things like that. I put the landscaping in. It's not, you know, I need to work on a couple parts of it. Well, that's when my grass guy comes. So don't kill me in the comments. But I have learned that I went a little lighter on the landscaping now to see where the washaway is. But, you know, we went pretty all out on the amenities. Our mirror sauna is not, you know, it may be fixable after we crane it out, but I actually ended up getting this 2-person sauna online to make up for it. This was only $3,000, and I will do a video on this very soon because I am extremely impressed. This was an amazing purchase. If you have an STR, this may be one of your best purchases you ever can make for the price and the ROI. I'm just going to be honest with you. The mirror house, Oud Company is amazing. It's breathtaking. That sauna is about $29,000, I believe. This is an infrared sauna, a little cheaper style, a little different, but it was only $3,000. You can do the ROI on the numbers and stuff yourself, but it's the same effect. Most people can only stay in there for about 10 minutes anyways. It has lights. It's beautiful. So now we overlook the pond. My main concern here initially was because we have our geodome right there. So we put up the privacy fencing. We're on the fence, no pun intended, of what we're going to do here. We don't want to close this area off fully, even though no one really kind of walks. We might put a handrail. We're trying to decide where we want to cut it off from, and we're still working on that too. But for the most part, it's pretty private. You're not going to be able to see it. We ended up moving the outdoor shower over here, put an electric water heater on the back side, bathtub here as well. Got this bathtub off Facebook Marketplace. Great steel, not as heavy as the other bathtub, which washed away anyways. So that was way more expensive. This is a much more, it's a cheaper bathtub, but it's going to hold up and do the same exact function that I needed to. Put an outdoor TV right here, some little string lights, put this canopy cover over for now. We might eventually build a roof over this thing, but there's only so many funds you have, especially when you're trying to rebuild after losing that. So have a little seating area here. And then now the sunset does set over there. So this will be really beautiful for guests to come and just hang out here in this area. We're definitely still building up the area and adding a few more things as we go. I'd love to hear any, comments or ideas to what I can do to keep improving the space. We have a couple small games, a few things on the outdoor area right there that can be used. And yeah, so we had to cancel guests for about 2 or 3 weeks. A few guests were fine staying if we gave them a small refund if the sauna wasn't working at the time. And we were just honest with the guests up front. That's the other thing too. The last point I'll hit on this is kind of a quick freestyled video. I haven't made a video in a while because I've been dealing with this and, you know, a lot of other things, running my own businesses. I run 2 businesses along with this one. So it has been a lot and a lot to deal with. But, you know, we're very grateful for where we ended up at, especially for all the devastation that happened in the area. The last piece of advice I will give is, if you do have something go out, especially one of your main amenities, your whole goal should be to get those amenities back running as quickly and as closely as you can as possible. Most of the guests were fine with the changes. Most of them just wanted to make sure the bath was still set up and that there was a sauna. They weren't too particular on, you know, and obviously every guest is going to be different. They were not too particular on, oh, is it the same area? Is it this? Is it, you know, is it the same bathtub? Is it the same sauna? I sent them some pictures. I'm getting updated pictures real soon from my photographer, but I just sent them some iPhone pictures I had, the best I could, explain to them, you know, and I tried not to offer a refund unless they asked for some of it. I really tried to just up what I could do for their experience. A couple of the guests, I put in an extra romantic package that we sell that we usually make, you know, about $100 on. Pizza and s'mores kits, all those little packages that I preach all the time that you can make a good bit of money on. Those are the things that I think are better adding to the feel, as long as the guest is okay with it. And, you know, they'll ask you if they want a refund. I've had some guests say, hey, do we get anything back for us not, you know, getting the full amenities? And then I'll explain, you know, we have the amenities, but I don't have an issue with giving them a little sign. Most of the time it's been about $100, just as a sign of good faith with them too. And because at the same time, I'm not promising the same exact experience that they thought they were signing up for in the pictures. I get the same amenities, and I personally think this is an even kind of better view. I love that area down there because of the trees and the creek and things, but sometimes Mother Nature is going to tell you what you need to know about it and what, you know, what you're actually going to be able to do. So not my typical, you know, sit down scripted video, or I really just wanted to highlight the, you know, this is all not glitter and gold in the glamping business. That's one thing I've really been trying to be transparent with about on this channel, is that this is not the easiest business to get into. I think a lot of these, you know, gurus and things like that have been preaching forever that, you know, put a tent on the site, you can gain $1,000 a day or something just wild, and it's no, you know, barely any effort and everything's perfect. And it's like, that is not actually the case. This one is successful, but we also spend a lot of money and it takes a lot of my time. I do a lot of consultations with people, and I explain this to them up front if they're just now starting to dive into it, that this is not in just a, you know, grab a couple tents, buy some land, slap it up, and you got it, you know, you have a business making 10K a month. This takes there's a lot of work that would probably have to come from you or people nearby, or a team you're able to hire, especially if you don't have the funds up front like I do. Like I'm backed by myself and my business partner. We don't have a ton of funds to do all this. So a lot of this I have to, you know, bite the bullet and do the work myself, because that's a lot of the times the only way the glamping site will stay profitable and function, especially with some of the recent things that we've had with weather events, and we just know they're going to get worse. So to wrap up this video, I'm sure I'm rambling at this point. I kind of even lost my train of thought of this here. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you're curious of seeing how I did anything else, or if you want me to make a deep dive on any video, any part of this in particular. I will make a video on the sauna pretty soon, just because I love the product. I think it's awesome. Not a sponsor or anything like that. Yeah, until next time, I appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all then. Peace.
Yeah.